Welcome to another episode of What's Up with Wendy's podcast. Multi-talented singer, songwriter, and performer turned vocal coach and talent manager, Samantha Cole is joining me. Singer, songwriter, actress, celebrity voice coach joining me to talk about her event at the Richfield Playhouse, Write, Record, and Promote Like a Pro. So if you're a singer wanting to learn vocal mastery and proper mic use and so much more, you won't want to miss this. I am thrilled to welcome to my show recording artist, songwriter, and celebrity voice coach, Samantha Cole.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I want to start back with your career. You first started when you signed with Universal Records at the young age of 19.
Yes, I did, way back. Yes, thank you.
Oh my God, so how did that all happen?
So basically I was out singing at a place called Tattoo, and I got discovered by, I was in college, and I got discovered by this English producer out of the UK, and they wanted to sign me, and, you know, long story short, they were taking a long time to do the paperwork, and I had met the Hit Factory owner, and you know, I was working with my publisher at the time from EMI, and we were at a jazz club. He's like, come down to the Hit Factory, which was like the biggest studio in New York, if nobody knows what that is. It was where everybody recorded their albums, you know.
Wow.
Boyz II Men, and it was the biggest recording thing in the city. So I got to go down and do a tour, and while I was there, they heard my little demo tape, and basically Doug Morris was doing a new label at the time, and they said, do you mind if we play it for him? And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine, whatever. And, you know, 3 weeks later, they were like, we want to sign you. So I had a meeting, and it was really unexpected and not planned, and it was very cool and exciting to be the first artist ever signed to what became Universal. So while I was there, they obviously merged into Universal, which was, you know, a bigger company.
Right.
So he took his smaller label imprint and merged, and so it was really exciting. And being the first there was, you know, nobody was in the offices yet, and there was nobody at the desk, and you know, then they filled the desk, you know, as I was there. It was really interesting.
That's a great story, because probably not a lot of people know that.
No, I don't think so. You know, those little things get kind of bypassed, you know, once, you know, you start putting things down, it's all about that. But it was definitely a very exciting and very new to me, and I was really young, and you know what I mean? It was interesting how it all happened.
I can't even imagine, and I find it fascinating that you're here you are, you're just singing, and then you get discovered, and it's like, Those are like the stories that movies are made of, right? Absolutely.
It's like, it's funny how sometimes when you're not trying to do something, you know, then something happens. You know, you hear those stories too. So it's kind of like I wasn't shopping my stuff, but I got, you know, like people wanted to they wanted to sign me. It was weird because I'm like, well, I just wrote only my first 3 songs. You know, I was just working on my writing. And that's kind of how it happened. You know, those London people, if they hadn't taken so long, I would have been signed to them. You know?
Oh, right.
It's interesting. Yeah.
What inspires you to write?
You know, everything is like kind of like I look at things now from a point of view of very different than when I was 19, of course, where you're writing stories and trying to find, you know, you take ideas and form songs. I basically now have got enough life experience that I turn them into songs now. So it's, you know, it's very different. It's like when something hits me and I feel something, I'll write it down and I'll go, this needs to be like, I need to write about this. You know, sort of like music is like a form of therapy. So it's, they say musical therapy is true because it really is an outlet for people to express their emotions and their feelings and also things that have happened to them, you know, their experiences too. So it's just a nice platform to be able to get it all out, you know.
Oh my God, such a nice platform. One of the fan favorites, Without You, was covered by American Idol's, was it Clay Aiken and Kimberly Locke? That's amazing.
Yeah. It's funny because we're like neighbors, right? Kimberly Locke lives up here, and I've never met her, but they did my song, and I didn't know about the cover until my aunt was at the Clay Aiken concert, and she called my mom and was like, he's singing my niece's song. We didn't know. So it was really fun how that came about. Like they put it on her album, and they did a really great job, too. That was one of my favorite songs, and that actually came from a poem about my grandmother who passed away. So that song has, you know, an interesting meaning. And that's how we started writing it from that poem that I wrote. So
that's so cool. What was it like when you were like, you found out, you're like, oh my God, they're singing my song?
I was shocked. I was happy. It was great because, it was a good record for me. I wrote it with David Foster and Richard Marx, and it did really well for me, especially overseas, where I had a #1 in Asia and sold a ton of records, tons of fans there because of that one record. And it's a very beautiful record, and it's probably one of my favorites, on the album. And in time, it still sounds, current. You know what I mean? So to have them cover it was, it was definitely really. It was very cool.
That is so cool. And you've co-written songs with some of the greats. You mentioned David Foster, members of John Bon Jovi, Aerosmith.
Yeah.
How amazing is that? From 19-year-old who got discovered to all this.
Yeah, you know what? I was really lucky to be in the room with so many big names like Nile Rodgers and Bruce Roberts, and even Robin Thicke and.
Wow.
Tony Rich, and just I could go on about how many people I've written with and been in a room with. Even the guys that you don't really know who they are, but they've written major songs for Madonna. So I definitely got the experience of being thrown in rooms with all different types of writers and personalities, and coming together writing. Like David Morales, I wrote with him, and just all different types of music as well. So I definitely gained a lot of experience in that time working with all those people.
And how about who you toured with? Backstreet Boys, yeah. Shaggy, 98 Degrees. I mean, what is that like?
Well, we all kind of started up around the same time in the late 90s where all that pop, from Alanis Morissette to pop, right? And we just all did a lot of shows together, and it was really great because we all were hanging around, going out together, and growing up a little bit together in the scene. So, you kind of become friends because you're always at the same things together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Excuse me. So it was really great to, just to know them from when they were kids and when they first started. And then, I see them every now and again. You go, oh my God. Because you knew each other for 20 years. So
yeah.
It's really cool. It's really cool. And to watch them grow and become, even bigger than they were then. It's amazing.
Amazing. And what is it like when you're on the road? Is it tough?
Yeah. I experienced a real tour probably when I went over to Asia, because I was there and it wasn't like my hometown, or you're far away from family and stuff, and you're in a foreign country. So for me, I took that as like a real tour experience because I was there for 2 months, and we worked from the time someone comes in your room at 6 a.m. to do your hair and makeup until 10 o'clock at night when they're still picking out your clothes for the next day. So you're never alone, and you're always on, and you're always signing and taking pictures and singing and traveling to the next thing and rushing and, radio interviews and fan lunches and photo shoots. And you know what? It's grueling, and it makes you tired. And sometimes you need a few minutes to not be on, and I did get really good experience in knowing what it's like by doing that. And they did give me a week off, but in between while I was there, but it definitely is nonstop, and there was lots of lack of sleep.
I can't even imagine. I don't even know how you prepare for that. Probably I
was not prepared for that, but it was an amazing experience, and I wouldn't take back at all. I got to do that for 4 months over there, so it was really great. Over here it's different because you get to come home in between.
Yeah.
Over there you didn't get to come home.
So what? You took a really long hiatus.
I did. I was, I had 4 album deals. I don't know, and nobody knows that part of my story, but I had another album deal with Warner after Universal that fell through. I had another deal with EMI that fell through, and then I had another one in Europe that the people that I did the deal with they didn't have the money they made out to say they had to finish the project, so it didn't really go anywhere. So I had 3 failing album deals where I wrote the whole album that never came out. So I worked with the Boyz II Men, all those people throughout these albums, and it was a bummer because there were some really great songs. Great songs that people would be like, "Wow, that never came out." But I got a little burnt out, and I took a break because it was just a daily hustle grind, and I was like, it's becoming a lot to just maintain it, and it's like the product isn't, keeping up with it, and so I did a bunch of dance-off singles. I did one-off projects for a while, and then I went into the hospitality field. I started my own company, so that's kind of how my break started, and then I did a concierge company in the Hamptons for a few years.
Oh, wow.
And I went on to manage for a really big company out of Denver, which is like a, international company. I managed all their stuff in New York. So I was pretty, sidetracked with that for a while. Then I got married and I had kids. So that's kind of how my break went.
So that was that.
That was that. And then, but I loved it. I have to say, I loved the hospitality field. It was like my second calling. So I didn't go from one to the other and like, what am I doing? It was felt natural for me. So I, when I had my first baby, we decided I was up here in Connecticut. So we decided I would give it a try to see if there was a need for, people needing a voice coach and things like that. I wasn't quite sure how that would go. I wasn't sure how I felt about music anymore. I wasn't sure if I'd even like doing it. But I had been asked a few times, will you teach my daughter? And I was like, nah, I really am not on that right now. But then, when I put an ad out and I got my first student and I went to their house and it just flooded back like I didn't even feel like I was working at all. So to be honest, I've been coaching for almost 9 years now. And I love it. And I'm back to music because of my students. And if it wasn't for this, I probably wouldn't be putting records out again,
Oh, my God. That's what a story. If you just tuned in, I'm talking to Samantha Cole, multi-talented singer, songwriter, performer, turned vocal coach and talent manager. I love that journey. You did all this amazing stuff starting at 19, which is so young. And you went on to have this amazing career. And then it was, here we are. We're moms. So everything changes.
Oh. Right, exactly.
and just like that, you found your love again. It's pretty remarkable. So you're going to be, you're going to be at the Ridgefield Playhouse, one of my favorite places ever. I say that and I truly mean that, on March 22nd at 11 a.m. For tickets for this, you can call 203-438-5795. It's from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you're teaming up with unbelievable 13-time Emmy Award-winning AJ Gundel. He thinks that's so awesome. So let's talk about what you're going to be doing at the Ridgefield Playhouse for this workshop.
So we're going to do we decided to kind of team up and combine like all of our expertise and reach out to, more of an overall like umbrella of things under music. So you have singing, you have performing, you have songwriting, which is really important, and you have recording. And then, there's this element now with the indie artists, and really where the music business has gone is you release your own stuff, and you do everything yourself, right? So we have recording, and then we're going to touch on, for people who are interested in this part, like setup and marketing and promo, and just, really going over every aspect of, like, what you could need to know. And I know it's like sort of like a crash, like one-day kind of class, but I feel like we could reach, the musicians that maybe need some help with their home studio and their recording and how to like get their head around really even putting their own product out, or the young teenager who's aspiring to be the next, big thing, and like where do they start? And if they're writing in their bedroom and they don't know what to do with their songs, like, let's get them, into the songwriting class, So we're actually going to be songwriting. We're going to be working on everything within the day. So there'll be an element of performing and singing. There'll be an element of a couple hours of songwriting session, and then a little bit of a mock demo recording so people can watch, learn, and see how the process is and how it works. And then from the recording, we go into Q&A with, some industry people like Dave Novak, who have been in the record business they were senior VP of A&R at Columbia, Sony, Universal, like big time through the era of artist development. So, who also started his own company consulting and releasing indie projects. So we all kind of have our little niche of what we're experienced in, and then to give back into this one class, like where it can really, it's a good overall thing. I mean, I think we're not someone just doesn't want to just learn about, singing because they sing already, but they don't know anything else about what to do. It's kind of like that they can, just get everything under one umbrella in one